Hey, good Monday morning, guys, and thanks for checking out your latest long-range forecast. Michael Clark here with BAM Weather. We've got an active pattern coming, very busy, a lot of things to discuss. I want to get right into it. And we really kind of want to figure out, too, where are we going? Obviously, this is a long-range forecast. We want to know what's coming in the next several weeks, and we're going to get into that. Listen, we've talked about a big cold front for Halloween with rain and storms and snow and cold, and I'll tell you what, the latest modeling is certainly in line with that. This is a look at the future radar product over the next 18 hours. We do have some rain and thunderstorms this morning across eastern Iowa. We've got a storm system working in across the northern plains, North Dakota, that'll bring some rain, heavy rainfall at times as well. And look at the blue showing up there near Calgary, Saskatchewan, and the far northwestern portion of the country. Some snow showing up. There will be some snow. All right, up there in the forecast. There will be some more snow in the forecast, too, as we come closer into the end of the month, as that starts to get in closer time frame. Believe it or not, we've got some snow there. So heavy rain and storms, Texas, Oklahoma as well over the next few hours as we watch these systems move through. This is a look here at temperatures, the departures from normal the last 14 days. Overall, generally, the idea of cooler east, warmer west, and north and west has been the idea. It's what we talked about, and that's really what's been happening. It's typical this time of year with this type of pattern and this type of forcing going on. It's going to change though this week. We've got temperatures coming into the 70s. We've got a ridge coming into the east, which again we have talked about. If you follow these on a daily basis or weekly basis, it's fun to kind of watch these patterns come to fruition when we're right. Sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes we're right. You never know. But it's generally the last 2 weeks it has been cooler to the east. The forecast or the precip the last 14 days, it's been exceptionally wet here across South Dakota, Nebraska, North Iowa, Minnesota, Northern Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. But where it has been dry, boy, it has been dry. It has not rained much, if any, record dryness in the deep south. It has just been very, very dry. Look at the last 14 days, it really hasn't rained at all here across central and southern U.S. So the coming pattern change will be welcomed for rainfall, especially in the central portion of the country here. This is kind of what I want to direct your attention to, because this will kind of help really, paint a picture of what it is I'm talking about with this pattern. Because out ahead of it, I'm trying to position this so you can see this. Out ahead, you can see the next several days, it's warm. All right, this is the feels like temperature. I always think the feels like temperature is more relevant than the actual temperature because it's what it feels like, right? So I show you what you feel. But this is a look here at temperatures out ahead of the front. Look at this. Temperatures that feel 15 degrees below zero near Calgary and Saskatchewan here by Thursday. Okay, look out ahead of it down to the south and east, temperatures that feel like they're in the 80s. So there's a massive gradient battle zone out ahead. The front does start to work south. By the weekend, the front starts to come in here. Here's Sunday. Here's getting into Monday. It starts to come through. It feels like 86 near Tallahassee, and it feels like 15 up in South Dakota. So there's a huge gradient in between where it will be very, very busy and also very cold. This is a look at wind chill temperatures, feels like temperatures for Halloween. Trick-or-treating probably feels at or below freezing for many folks across the country as this big, strong cold front comes through. The morning of November 1st, temperatures will most likely, again, be at or below freezing for many, many folks across the area. It's an active one with a lot of storm potential, a lot of rainfall. This is just a look at rainfall from normal over the next week. Again, you can see here that folks running as much as 500% of the normal precipitation, looking at the ensembles the next 7 days. The wettest of that, Wisconsin, Iowa, eastern Nebraska, Kansas, down through portions of Oklahoma, Texas. Again, where it hasn't rained at all, they're going to get a lot of rain. And so that could be welcomed in some sense here, all right? Very dry to the south and east. Going even out into week 2, the pattern still continues to remain very active. 150% of normal or more of the normal precip across the central U.S. into the Ohio Valley. Still drier to the south and southeast, but regardless, a very, very busy look here over the next couple of weeks in the Central Plains. Okay, now here's a look at precip over the next 7 days. General model blend here, consensus for heavy rain, 2 inches or more, really, for a lot of Wisconsin. Iowa, Missouri, again, eastern Kansas and Nebraska, most of Oklahoma down through Texas. In fact, some spots there, 4 to 5 inches of rain possible here over the next 7 days. You can see the sharp, drastic cutoff where the upper level ridging is in the east and the southeast, where there's virtually no rainfall at all. And you go just a little bit north and west, and you're looking at potential flooding situations at times, and not even to mention snowfall chances that I won't get too much into right now. But I do think we will be tracking some snow on the north and west side of these low pressure systems as we get out into next week. That big front comes through. Listen, too, side note, any white-tailed deer hunters like myself, it's a perfect time for a strong cold front. All right, I think some of the best hunting of the season could be the 31st of October through about the 5th of November, with a front like that really gets the game up and moving. So if you're a hunter, you better be out in the woods, right? So don't email me if you don't hunt and it offends you that we hunt. I don't want an email. It just doesn't really, I don't really care. So just want to make sure we get that out there. Some people hunt, some people don't. I know, I get it. Not that big of a deal. So let's take a look here at the probability of seeing an inch or more of rain the next 15 days. This is what this is where you're really going to be looking at, the heaviest of that. And I tell you what, when you're looking at a European and American ensemble combination here, and you see these darkest reds of basically 95% chance or greater of over an inch of rain the next 2 weeks, you know that it's really going to be active in between the battle zones here of cold west and warm down to the south and east. Looking at the extended range pattern, see that big trough in East Asia there, the Korean islands and Japan right there? That's our front for Halloween, okay? That passed back on the 21st, all right? So a couple days ago that passed. You take that out 6 to 10 days, that's our Halloween front. Now look into the North Pacific. See this magenta color, this big strong ridging here? We roll that out about 17 days or so, and that's our next warm-up. Okay, so if this was observed on the 22nd, we're going to get us out into the end of the first week in November for possibly a big warm-up. We look over in East Asia for signs of that showing up in another teleconnection, I guess, if you will. And again, by hour 144, by the 29th, you see that big ridge showing up here. Roll that out about 6 to 10 days. You're around the 7th to 10th of November, if you will, or 5th through the 9th or so for another warm-up. Even going out further, again, if we go all the way out to let's say first week of November in the North Pacific, we're still seeing the ridging. So a lot of indications are this cold pattern coming is not going to hang around. It's short-lived. The week 3 and 4 outlook from the CFS Weekly paints a very warm picture for week 3 and week 4. And as of right now, I really don't have any reason to go against this or to not believe it. We don't have any big typhoon recurves that we're looking at. The MJO is not going into any colder phases. In fact, if anything, it argues that mid-November is probably going to be a pretty warm period, much below normal in terms of the heating demand as well. Top analogs rolled into November. We looked at years that have the positive Indian Ocean dipole, the east-based El Nino. Most recent years that come to mind, if you will, 2019, 2015, 2006, 1997. Mostly favoring pretty warm in the eastern, northeastern U.S. for November. When you look at this in terms of precipitation, we continue to keep the pattern somewhat active. All right, especially in the central U.S. Okay, you can see here that these precipitation departures are 2 to 3 inches above the normal, so the active pattern may continue somewhat. The idea here is that perhaps as we see fronts swing through, more of that precipitation can work into the south and east. Listen, it doesn't matter how you spin it. We've talked about this multiple times. This is the November-December temperature composite for departures from normal. I mean, it's very warm. The only wild card in this particular set of analogs or the particular set of thinking is 2009. 2009, for those of you that know, it was a very, very cold December. Oceanic analogs, they line up well. I would say right now, the odds at looking at a colder December, the probability is less than 20%. It's not, obviously, we can't guarantee the outcome, but the overall thought process going forward is Arctic blasts of cold air will probably be few and far between here for the rest of the year, for the most part. Could we have a couple? Sure. But the overall research and pattern progression does not favor prolonged periods of cold weather and high heating demand. If you have questions, let us know. Reach out to us. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.